iPhone colors have been a huge selling point for a long time now. Long gone are the days when you could only choose between 2 or 3 different colors. If you look at the current lineup for the new iPhone 16, in total there are 9 different colors to choose from. With so many colors to choose from each year, it's no surprise that there's some that are only around for a few models, whether it's due to being unpopular or for practical reasons. So today we're going to be going over some of the rarest iPhone colors to have ever been made. And just to be clear, this isn't going to be a super accurate list, and a lot of it comes down to my interpretation of what makes a color rare. We're going to be looking at iPhone colors specifically, so iPods, MacBooks, etc. don't count for this list. Apple also likes to change up the names of certain colors, even if they're pretty much the same shade. I just want to bring up this disclaimer, because it can definitely be arguable as to the colors I'm going to be choosing. And right before we get to the first color on this list, I just wanted to say that I actually made the goal to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year a few videos back, and we're actually getting super close. So if you could help me reach that goal and subscribe to the channel, it would be really appreciated. But anyway, let's start off this list with a color that's somewhat rare, with it only appearing on a few models: purple. It's honestly kind of shocking that it took Apple so long to release the color purple. The colors only appeared on 3 different phones, the iPhone 11, 12, and 14, and technically there was a purple variation on the 14 Pro, but it's referred to as deep purple, so we'll call it about 3-ish phones it's appeared on. I know, super official ranking. But the color on this list would have actually been slightly higher up if it weren't for Apple deciding to drop the purple iPhone 12 randomly in the spring rather than waiting in the fall with the regular lineup. But I do have to admit that it makes even more sense to drop a phone color in the spring due to Apple going with more of a lavender purple color than a normal base purple. But let's move on to a color that's actually only appeared on 3 different phones: rose gold. This color was first introduced on the iPhone 6s in 2015 as another premium feeling color to complement the already existing gold color. But despite this premium feeling, this color wasn't just reserved for the high-end models. Apple soon after introduced this color on the budget-friendly iPhone SE, making the color just a bit more accessible to those who didn't want to spend as much. But only after a few phone generations, the rose gold color faded away, with its last appearance being on the iPhone 7 series. And while only being on 3 smartphone generations may seem like very few, we're actually going to be going over some colors that have only appeared on 2 or even 1 device. Speaking of which, the next color on the list is one that's actually only appeared on a single phone so far: desert titanium. Now, the reason why I'm putting a color that's only appeared on 1 device so high up is because, for one, while the specific desert titanium color is technically new, it's pretty much just a renamed gold color that's always been on the high-end iPhone models. Even if this was a unique and completely new color, the fact that it just released on the newest iPhone Pro means that it's very likely to show up again next year. But let's move on to a rarer color that's technically only appeared on a single device: jet black. This color was released on the iPhone 7 series, and it was the main color marketed on the phone due to how it stood out from the rest of the colors. Many would agree that this color was extremely attractive, but I actually don't mean by looks. This color, due to how it was polished to achieve that deep reflective black look, was highly prone to fingerprints. Not only this, but minor scuffs and scratches would be much more visible on this color than others, making it a major durability concern for users. This is probably why the iPhone jet black color was only around for a single generation, with Apple abandoning it on the iPhone 8 and 10 series. But the reason I'm putting the color in this spot and not higher up is because the color actually looks somewhat similar to the black color on the first few iPhone models to ever be released. And while it's definitely a different color, I think that the color being not super unique makes it just slightly less rare than the others on this list, such as the coral color, which is up next on this list. The coral color was released on the iPhone XR series, with it being one of the more unique colors of the lineup. While the iPhone XR came in the basic colors such as blue, yellow, red, black, and white, the pink and red blend of this color made it stand out from the rest. But despite this, it seems like the coral color had one of the lowest sales of the generation, which is probably why it only stuck around for the XR. There's been a handful of red and pink iPhones to have been released, but there's really never been a color like coral, except maybe for the pink iPhone 5C. Despite it being labeled as pink, it definitely resembles the coral color, which is something to consider for this list, and why it's not exactly the rarest color. But a color I'd consider to be one of the rarest is the teal color on the newest iPhone 16. Just like coral, the teal color is a blend of 2 colors, being green and blue, which hasn't been done on an iPhone before. Personally, I really love this color and hope it sticks around for another year, but unlike desert titanium, I'm not too sure that this color will be sticking around. The base iPhone colors seem to be changed up more frequently significantly than the Pro ones, and the Desert Titanium color fills the gold category that's usually on the Pro model every year. So with it being pretty uncertain if this color will ever reappear, and the color itself being pretty unique, I would say that this is one of the rarest iPhone colors to ever exist. But there is just one more color that I would personally consider to be the rarest of them all. And before we dive into it, I'd like to just list some honorable mentions really quick that didn't quite make the cut in my opinion. Starting with the pink color option that was released on the iPhone 16, 15, 13, and technically the 5C as mentioned before. I felt like I should omit this from the list since it was released on 4 different models, and the fact that the rose gold color was a version of pink that stood out just a bit more from the usual pastel colors and appeared on fewer devices. Another color to quickly mention is actually the silver color option. Despite this feeling like a pretty basic and common color, it was actually only released on about 4 models when the iPhones came in an aluminum material, from the iPhone 5S to the iPhone 6S. Its rarity is definitely due to Apple not being able to make the exact color nowadays, with them abandoning the aluminum material for a more premium option such as glass and titanium. And one more honorable mention I'd like to talk about is the light blue color, most known for appearing on the iPhone XR. Now, despite this specific shade of blue only appearing on the iPhone XRs mentioned and the iPhone 5C, Apple has made so many different types of blue phones that it's pretty hard to say that blue is one of the rarest colors. You could also make the argument that since it's labeled as just blue, it should be lumped in with all the other blue colored options, making it not super special. But without any further ado, let's get into the rarest iPhone color to ever be released in my opinion. This color was only released once over a decade ago and hasn't ever been seen since, and the color I'm talking about is the iPhone 5C lime green color. Well, technically it was labeled as the green color option for the 5C, but I mean, come on. When compared to other green labeled colors we've had in the past, it's nothing like them. I think one of the biggest complaints I've seen about recent iPhone colors is that they're so saturated and dull. The iPhone 5C colors definitely didn't have this problem. The vibrant colors reflected the choice to go with plastic materials for this phone. Since the iPhone 5C was pretty much a flop by Apple standards, it's no surprise that we haven't seen as vibrant of colors on the newer models, especially that electric lime green. The plastic material and super vibrant colors just made the devices feel a bit too cheap when compared to the other devices in the lineup. The fact that it was released in 2013, its uniqueness, and the fact that no other green shade has ever come close to the vibrant lime green color on the iPhone 5C, I would personally label it as the rarest color to ever appear on an iPhone. I certainly wouldn't call this a definitive list at all. I could see the arguments made for other colors on this list, or ones that aren't even mentioned as being the rarest. The point of this video was more so to talk about and explore Apple's history with iPhone colors, and to look back on some that may have been forgotten. But anyway, I'd love to hear your opinions, or even your own ranking in the comments below. Did I mess up the ordering of some of the colors, or did I forget to include a color altogether? Either way, thanks for watching, and I look forward to reading your comments.